What if the most important part of a miracle isn't the bright drink at the end, but the poison that shows up first? What if the first warning is actually the clue? Imagine an ocean that looks totally calm, like nothing bad could ever happen there. It's peaceful, and for a second you almost miss the point. Now picture the weird part. In one myth, that calm ocean turns into the biggest group project in spiritual history. Devas and Asuras, gods and power-leaning enemies, forced to work side by side. They grab a mountain like it's a tool. They wrap a serpent around it like a rope. And they start churning because the universe isn't done just because you wish it were. But this isn't just busy work. The goal is life itself, not only living but wholeness. The Devas want nectar and the Asuras want advantage. Both sides think they can secure the future by steering what comes out. The Devas think they can make it sacred. The Asuras think they can make it theirs. And here's the twist that keeps the story going. They don't just fight their way to the answer. They cooperate because the ocean won't reveal its treasures through violence alone. This takes heat, time, and persistence you can't fake. So picture the scene. Cold air, tense faces, hands braced like everyone's afraid of slipping. The mountain creaks under weight and every pull matters. At first it feels like, okay, at least something is happening. Hard work, but progress is progress. You almost start to believe the worst won't show up. Then the first thing rises, and it's not nectar, it's poison, bitter, dark, and dangerous. The key detail is that poison here isn't only a bad flavor. It's danger and consequence. It's the reality check that says, if you open something huge, there will be costs. If you've ever tried to change anything, you've felt this. You start with hope, you commit, and then you hit the moment you feared. The moment you think, wait, this is actually happening and I want to stop. That feeling is the first poison moment. Continuing starts to feel impossible. So the myth asks a simple question: who will carry it? This is where the story shifts toward something like compassion. The danger can't be ignored because it spreads. The cost doesn't care who you are or who deserves credit. So in many tellings, Shiva appears as the one who takes the poison into himself to protect the world. The point isn't that it becomes easy. The point is that someone responds without letting the whole journey collapse. The consequence is immediate and the lesson is blunt. If you want nectar, you have to survive the stage before nectar. Poison is the gate, not the detour. And there's another spiritual detail that matters. The myth doesn't treat poison as totally separate from what's offered. It treats it like part of what emerges when you churn deeply enough. So the correction is building quietly as the story goes. The first poison isn't a random detour. It's an essential signal. Okay, practical meaning time, but still in the spirit of the myth. First, poison changes your relationship with the goal. It moves you from do we get what we want to can we handle what comes with it. Second, poison tests trust and endurance. When things get ugly, do people abandon the process? Or do they keep going with a higher kind of responsibility? The story doesn't pretend everyone becomes kind overnight. The cooperation stays tense. The ocean is still dangerous, but the poison forces a correction so the group can't pretend the cost doesn't exist. So why does the story start with poison? Because it teaches that the path to nectar isn't only about receiving something good. It's about preventing harm long enough for the good to become possible. After the poison is dealt with, the ocean keeps revealing layers. The visuals shift because the energy changes. Wealth, beauty, power, and blessing start to appear. Even then, people don't celebrate like the danger never happened. The story already showed you how close disaster was. So joy lands as relief with awareness, not denial. Then you reach the moment everyone knows: nectar. In many interpretations, nectar or Amrita symbolizes immortality and spiritual longevity. It's renewal, and it's life that keeps unfolding with meaning. If nectar were only a quick cure, the story would be too simple. Ask, receive, and it's over. But Samudra Manthan treats nectar as the culmination of the whole process. Here's the non-obvious takeaway. The most spiritual part isn't just finally getting nectar, it's learning what to do with the poison. Nectar rewards staying awake through the ugly part. So if you're watching from outside the ocean, here's how to land it. When change gets uncomfortable, don't automatically call it failure. Ask if it's the poison stage, the spiritual checkpoint before the treasure becomes usable.